Hey everyone, time for another book. So right now we're going to discuss Rejection Proof by Jiang. I think I have a Chinese theme going on today. The last book I didn't even realize this when I was setting this up. I just did a video on Chemistry by Wakey Wang, and now I'm doing Rejection Proof by Jiang. I didn't even realize that these are two Chinese American authors. Okay, that's the theme for today, is Chinese American writers. So anyway, Rejection Proof. So I first heard about this book on NPR. I forget what the exact theme of the it was All Things Considered, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They were discussing his going out of his way to be rejected and to become uncomfortable. So the average Goodreads rating was 4.09. I gave it 4 stars. So pretty, right on the mark with other people. So this is a story of a guy, he grew up having really big ideas and he wanted to come to the United States, and he wanted by 25 to be rich enough to buy Microsoft. He really looked up to people like Bill Gates and he really wanted to make it big. But he had 2 really big rejection episodes in his life that really kind of beat him down in a way, and he ended up settling for a marketing job. And right before his first child was to be born, the wife was like, dude, seriously, you're in this funk, I don't like it, take 6 months off, work on this startup that you want to do, and if it doesn't work out, you go back and you find another job. And this is like right before the first child is going to be born, and everyone's just like, are you nuts? But he does. And then he has another rejection episode, and it really sends him, this time he decides he's going to really, grab the bull by the horns and tackle this issue head on. Like, why does rejection bother me so much? And he does what's called rejection therapy, which is essentially kind of like exposure therapy for people with phobias. You go and you pursue rejection. But he tried to make the requests like completely bizarre, out there, guaranteed to say no. Like the first day he walks up to the security guard in this building and says, hey, can I borrow $100 from you? And obviously the guy's like, no, why? And he's like, okay, cool, no, bye, and he walks away. But then when he goes back and watches the video, and like he tapes all of them, and he ends up being a YouTube star, he notices the guy says, why? And he's like, okay, well, I could have continued that conversation, but I didn't get to. So, the next day, and he does this for 100 days. And some of the attempts actually end up in a yes. Like the biggest, one of the bigger ones is he goes to this guy's house on a Sunday afternoon, like when the football game is on. He knocks on the door in full soccer garb and he's like, hey, can I get a picture of myself playing soccer in your backyard? And he's waiting for the guy to be like, dude, get the F off my porch, da-da-da, whatever. But the guy's just like, yeah, sure, why not? So, and when he asked him, why did you let me do this? He was like, well, the request was so off the wall, how could I say no? And he goes through a lot of these different requests, and he talks about the lesson learned and everything. But he also talks about the research behind rejection and, why it hurts so much, why we run from it so much, and how it really keeps you from asking for the things that you want or need. Biggest example being asking for a raise at work. A lot of us do deserve raises. We've been working at a certain salary for so long. Inflation, our salary hasn't kept up with the cost of living, and, we've done spectacular work. We deserve raises. But we're afraid to ask for what we're worth. And all the people who say that rejection isn't personal, you know, he shows the research behind, well, actually, it may not be personal for the person rejecting, but the person being rejected, it is personal because it is the same hormonal response as if you know, were in a fight or flight situation, a life or death situation, a physically painful situation. So it may not be personal for you rejecting me, but to my brain, it is. And so I did really enjoy reading the story, you know, as soon as I heard about this book on NPR. And it's like, I don't feel bad, but it's just like, I love listening to NPR on the radio. It's like the only thing I listen to when I'm driving around. And, you know, they always have these little snippets and like, you know, Saturday at 11. And I'm just like, I'm not going to remember that. But I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. I was actually listening to the radio Saturday at 11, and the story came on, and my husband was actually interested in listening to it, and usually he's like, you know, changing it to music. He doesn't want to listen to NPR. You know, he was listening to it too, and as soon as it was over and I got to a computer, I immediately ordered a copy of this book for myself and for my sister, because we both, like, neither of us are really good with rejection. You know, and actually every time you guys put in a comment, I'm always like, oh God, what's the comment gonna be? You know, like, I don't want to see a bad comment. So thank you guys so far for giving me good feedback, and good comments, but just know if you give me a bad comment, I don't like it. But as soon as I got to a computer, I immediately ordered a copy of this for myself and for my sister. So, I do recommend it. The one thing, I said I gave it 4 stars. The reason why I gave it 4 stars is that, and this is just a personal thing for me, he does include a lot of research. He does, you know, talk about his experience and then come back to the research. And it's good, but for me, I've already read a bunch of books about shame and rejection and happiness and, you know, living a better life. And again, I don't read them necessarily for the self-help portion of things. I read them more for the information and for the story behind them, because I love stories. Couple examples, Brene Brown. The 2 biggest books from her that I love and I recommend if you're interested in this sort of thing, I Thought It Was Just Me and Rising Strong. And both of those books are about shame and rejection. And he actually mentions Brene Brown in the book and the research that she's done. And also The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, which, again, he mentions her in here, but because they were speaking at the same event. So it follows in a very similar vein. So for me, since I've already read a couple of books in this same vein, hearing the research again, for me was like, you know, I was just turning the page like, where does it get back to the story? Where's the next challenge? You know, but that was just me. You know, if you don't read a lot about rejection, shame, business politics, and things like that, you know, a lot of this will probably be news to you. But for me, you know, like I said, I've already read a lot of it before, so I got to the research part and I felt like it was just more of the same. But overall, I did really enjoy this book. I do highly recommend it. You know, and other books, you know, like I said, I Thought It Was Just Me and Rising Strong by Brene Brown. Both of those I highly recommend if you're looking for more books on this topic. The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. Definitely, I really enjoyed her book. She had a second one called Happier Home, which I didn't enjoy as much, but still really good. And then It's Always Personal. And unfortunately, I didn't write down the author's name. I should have, I didn't. But that talks more about business politics and how, you know, they say, oh, it's not personal, it's not personal. You know, she really goes into, yes, it is actually very personal every time. So, Rejection Proof, Jiang, highly recommended. You can get cheap copies on Amazon, etc. I marked this one page. Yeah. So, relatively short review for that one. It's relatively straightforward. Um, if you've read it, let me know what you think. If you've read any of the other books, let me know what you think. Again, hit like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I am working on, I don't know what the next book is going to be, because I took out Here I Am by Jonathan Safran Foer, Foer, which, if the name sounds familiar, he wrote Everything is Illuminated, which became a movie with Elijah Wood. And there's another one he wrote that, became a movie, but I haven't seen it or read it. But the book is like this thick, it's like 500 pages, so it might be a while before I review that one. I'm doing some research on the side, which I'm not going to review those books here, but that's going to be taking up some of my time. And then I started reading Zen Diagram, but I ended up returning it because it was really, really boring. It was a young adult book. There's another book out there called Meddling Kids. NPR just did a piece on it. I really want to read it. I'm going to see if I can get it at the library. And then The House of Lost Souls. It's going to be going back to that gothic novel type vein that I was on before. But so, hey, the next book is, your guess is as good as mine what it's going to be. So I will let you know. But I hope you enjoy these videos. If you have any feedback, hit me in the comments. And until next time, readers, I hope you have a good one.
The boys are